Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Today I am making a summer anchovy flatbread pizza. You probably have most of the ingredients at home. Red onions, bell pepper, cherry tomatoes, mozzarella. Anchovies is probably one of the things you don't have at home, and whatever barbecue sauce you have in the fridge. So if you're using one big red onion, you're gonna use half of it. Now this recipe is for the onions, and the whole can of anchovies is for 2 flatbread pizzas. It usually goes for 1 flatbread for each person, and I am making 2 individual ones, so that's why I'm gonna use both of the onions. Otherwise, if you're just making it for yourself, you just use one of the tiny onions and a quarter if you're using a big onion, and a handful of cherry tomatoes, half of the bell pepper. Cut it from up to the other side, that way it's easy to open and clean. So you want to cut this really thin. Why? So it cooks fast. If it's really thick, it's gonna be raw on the inside. You want it to be soft and sweet. So very thin as you can. Beautiful, yummy, so crunchy. I kept just eating it. All right, so it's actually a brownie sheet. And then you can use silicone or a wax paper. Put one of the layers of the puff pastry. Did I mention we're using puff pastry? Yes, we're using puff pastry. Down and just poke it with a fork. I'm sorry it's out of focus. I usually wear glasses and I did not notice. But I'm going to fix it just in a second. For the barbecue sauce, I use 2.5 tablespoons. Just spread it all over, pour back in focus, but leave the edges clean because it's puff pastry and it's gonna rise. That way we're gonna have that crust. I know you probably think that's a weird combination. A little bit of mozzarella cheese. You don't want to add too much because it's gonna cover that beautiful brown color. We want it to see. We want to see the sauce. So just a little bit, just to make sure it leaves some room to see. And then the cherry tomatoes. You can use just the regular red ones. I had the multicolor ones, and it gives it a very nice contrast. So not everything is just red. And I think the yellow cherry tomatoes have a very unique, crispy taste to it. Onions on top, and then bell peppers next. Beautiful. Look at that. And just fill in those little blanks. Give it some color. It's gonna be so tasty. No need to add salt because the anchovy is salted. I'm gonna add a little bit more of the cheese on top so the anchovy sticks to it. The cheese melts and the anchovy will stick to it. Here it is. So I'm just using half can for this half of the flatbread. Puff pastry usually comes in 2 sheets, so the other sheet will get the rest of the anchovies. Just nicely here and there. You don't want them to be too close because it is very salty. You want a little bit of anchovy with every bite. Preheat the oven to 400 and I baked it for 18 minutes exactly. Look at that crust straight out of the oven. If you have some basil at home, sprinkle some over. I did not have any, so it's lacking of green, but it was delicious. I mean, oh my god, I don't know, it's just a very unique flavor, the anchovy and the barbecue. It's like sweet and salty together, and the tomatoes juicy. It's so juicy. If you like baked tomatoes, this is perfect. Such an easy recipe, budget friendly, and very quick. Just throw everything on top and then bake at 400 for 80 minutes. But if your oven is more strong, then maybe you can just do for 16. Look at that bottom, so crispy. With a glass of wine, perfect for lunch or even breakfast if that's what you like. Thank you for watching and enjoy.